All right, I am live. Yay. Okay, thank you all for attending. And today I'm going to continue teaching. As I've been teaching throughout all this teaching, most of it I try and explain the process of what it is that's going on in furthering humanity to get a soul. Because everybody's jumped to the gun thinking everybody's got a soul. That's why we kill each other, and that's why we do what we do. That makes sense, So the truth is that that's not true. We kill each other. We go through hostility. We have a lack of virtues because we're not on a soulful planet. And it requires a whole planet to be soulful to have a soul, not just an individual. So when the avatar comes to the planet, that deeply affects the planet. So I've been trying to explain the better understanding of the Vedas and how the rishis and the ancient teachings in the Vedas has pointed out the yugas and the history of time and how we go through 4 different cycles, and the one we're in sucks the most. And as that is taught, it's taught that this keeps coming around. We just keep going through this life after life after life after life, and that is just the way it is. That's how it works. And then as you study much of the Vedas, you'll find that there's a lot of incorrect assumptions in relationship to this time cycle and the Vedas and its relationship to the planet, a plan. Is it just a machine that's just going on and on and on? Or is there actually God, and the hierarchy? And when it's time, they make different choices and we move into a different reality. And that reality is the reality when we start having a soul, and it's called the light body. So there's a lot for us to change. The influence of our being, the influence of the whole world, because we're set in this constant, ongoing process of these Vedas, or the yugas. And in them, they have a promise that we have spiritual cycles of time that come along. And in those spiritual cycles of time, we go into light, we come closer to God, and we have a greater and greater opportunity of becoming more and more and more enlightened. And that has been going on for an enormous long time. But there's a reason why I'm here, and that's to change that situation. I am in a situation where I can do that, and I don't do it willfully. I do it as a collective consciousness and an understanding that it has already been done. Before I got here, the decisions were made, the hierarchy gathered, there was an enormous amount of recapitulation on the ability of the hierarchy to foster a major change in our galaxy, because they hold sway of the creation process of our galaxy. And we see all the temples, and we see the human beings, we see the animals, and all the birds and everything. And those are all co-creative values, processes that come out of God's creation. And it took a long time to get from dinosaur to bird, So this transition isn't the first time. Our changing of our genetic cells, and changing, putting light into those cells. The more dense they are, the more, like dinosaur and, Cro-Magnon man and all these different things are going about. But they're very wild, very poisonous, very dangerous. There are volcanoes everywhere. It's very toxic in every possible way. So that takes many yugas to change that. That's what the yugas are for. So I'm explaining this so that you don't just go to this la la land thought, that there is an opportunity for us to enter into a higher yuga, and we're going to get spiritual and all that. And it just happens. And it doesn't. It happens because of the plan. And the plan was making these yugas and establishing our reality to our sister sun. Yeah, and the fact that we have our sun, but then we have our central spiritual sun. And as we get to the age that we're at now, scientifically, we can astronomically, and through the use of our telescopes, we have found, and full verification, that we have a sister sun. Yeah, and that's serious. And that particular star system, is directly across from us, and it rotates in very specific ways that we do the same. And we are in a relationship of coordination. Yeah, and as this relationship comes closer, those are the yugas. The further apart, a different yuga. Halfway through, another yuga. And then it comes back around and goes back out. Yeah, so it has an upward spiral of the yuga and a downward spiral of the yuga. And all it is the movement of these enormous processes, between this sun and our sister sun, and how we rotate together. We come close to each other. Yeah, but what that has done, that has sponsored the reality of the Lord having opportunities of time to put light into the cosmos, light into creation, as the Lord comes around. Slowly but surely, the Lord comes around. So we see all these different avatar incarnations of the Lord through the yugas. Yeah, one was a fish. Yeah, in the very, very, very early stage of the yugas and the creation of the earth and all that, first avatar was a fish. Yeah. And when that fish came, that brought life into all other fish in the ocean and out, radiating out into the rest of creation. Yeah, so there wasn't a species on Earth that wasn't fostered in its creation genetically. Yeah. So God does this, and God is focused upon our genetic manifestation. Yeah. It's not just, temples and Jesus the Christ and the avatar and full of glory. It's about the fact that God has a plan that puts light into matter. Yeah, and that's what I do here. That's what this is. This is a science of Metatron. It shows the light body. It shows the effect of the light body, and that it can be increased. Yeah, and that this has in it light, small point of light, and it radiates out. Yeah, just like God radiates. Yeah, so but it gives us a reference point. That light connects to us. When we hold on to it, it passes through many vehicles in our body that we don't know exist. Yeah, 5 vehicles it has to pass through. And when it does that, it's just like looking at the 5 Pythagorean solids. Yeah, or the relationship of the cube, the octahedron, the dodecahedron, the icosahedron, these 5 different solids that make manifest the elements of air and fire and water and earth and all these different things. Yeah. So, but those things are constituted, they manifest in themselves through free will. Yeah, and free will can mess people up. It could take these elements and separate them apart, keep them from other elements, and make things toxic, make things lies, illusions, and delusions. Yeah, all through elemental forces. Yeah, and they manifest into our mind and our emotions, and we have this psycho reality of believing our culture is real. And really, it's just a culture. It's a mind state of what we believed from previous lives and where we're sitting today, where we believe in it. Yeah, but that's because of these elements. Yeah, they give us bias and prejudice, and they separate us and think in lower mind rather than higher mind. Yeah, so when they're penetrated with light and frequencies of light, those elements go back to God, and they're no longer in your hands. You can't mess with them anymore. Yeah, You can't control it. You can't talk negatively. You can, but you will less as time goes on. Yeah. Because the light goes from here into your hand or into your aura, yeah, into your astral body, yeah, and that's one of your many bodies, you know. So this whole process is a way to change you, transmute you. My science is preparing your bodies, all of the earth, all the buildings, all the roads, all the airplanes, because nearly every airplane has had somebody with a etheric weaver on it while it flew. So that plane became one within the plan of light. Yeah? And no one knows this shit's going on. No one knows anything like this is going on. You walk into a bank, you've got a solar form on, you got a weaver on, wah, wah, wah. Yeah? The bank has matter. Yeah? And it matters. Yeah? The bank has conscience. And it should have an elevated conscience. It should do right, not do wrong. Yeah. So all these things save humanity and put soul into every living thing, and it becomes a light body. Yeah. And that's the science of Maitreya, science of Metatron, because Metatron and Maitreya are the same person. Yeah. And the purpose of Metatron is that he has all the light of God. All the light of God. All the angels receive light from Metatron in order to become an angel. For them to evolve, no matter who you are, whatever angel you are, you become an angel because of Metatron. Yeah? The very first angel. Yeah? And that manifestation manifests into all the elements which the angels are made out of. Yeah? So they're made out of light bodies. Original light bodies, yeah, not physical but light. But we all come out of this. Yeah, everything is made manifest through heaven, through this light body, into matter in a consciousness way. Yeah, and we're not aware of it because God is using light to make this happen, and people are too dense to have light in them. Yeah, so what's needed is they need to be affected by light. So the light has to get into their cells. To do that, Maitreya has to incarnate, and when Maitreya incarnates, he has to leave Tushita. And Tushita is an offering temple by all the masters in heaven. All the masters, including God, offer Tushita, built it out of gems, built it out of their merit. All their merit turns into gemstones. Yeah. And they take all of their merit, all of their gemstones, and they put it forth into the manifestation of the temple Tushita. And it's incredibly big. It's bigger than our solar system. It's bigger than anything you can even possibly conceive. Yeah? And every single master of wisdom and all the angels and every single thing of light is attracted to Tushita to receive teachings that only radiate out of Maitreya. No physical words, no movement of eye, no movement of finger, no nothing. And it's not a statue. Yeah? It is a body of light, the original body of light. Yeah? Maitreya. Yeah? So that's where Shambhala is at. It's sitting in his brow center. Sits there, and it radiates out to humanity as what he will bring when he comes. He'll bring Shambhala. Yeah? So everybody, all the masters in their mythologies talk about, well, Shambhala is the place of this, and it's heaven, and it's all this, and it's in the higher state of the ethers and things like that. But if you study, and you find through Yuktasvara, like Yogananda and Yuktasvara, the masters that we've had within our cycle of lifetime, that have written new books and established all the teachings from the highest master, Babaji, Jesus, all the way to our physical life. And they've been written in books and formulated to change how we look at the yugas, and gave actual specific mathematical equations so that we can see the date of a beginning of a yuga for the first time. We've never known such a thing. It's always been like, oh, it could be 50,000 years from now. We could be in this yuga or maybe that yuga. We don't know. We're too stupid. You know, we just don't know. And when you're in the Kali Yuga and you're putting this shit out, you know, all that's going to come out is extremely exaggerated forms of truth. So the yugas would go either backwards or forwards. They'd be multiplied by 3 or 4 or 5 times in years. Yeah? And you would believe it, you know, because you were not at the place where you can say, this is the speed of light, and this is the distance of our star sister, and that star sister does exist. And you have to know the equation of the speed of light to know light years and where its position is at in light years in relationship to us and light. Yeah. So communication happens, everything happens based on light. Yeah. But we have to get to that place in our consciousness. So it wasn't until Yuktasvara that we were able to mathematically equate the speed of light and come up with the equations of certain mathematics, like E equals mc squared, was brought upon by a Hindu yogi to Einstein. And it was after he got that consciousness and he got that interest in and started reading the Vedas and started putting this, are you kidding me, the speed of light is reference to speed of time, and da-da-da. He got that through the Vedas, yeah, not through talking to another mathematician. Yeah. So his process was speeding things up, moving things into a place to where we'd better understand where we're going, because Yuktasvara explained, and it needed to be really complemented by this period of time, where there are a lot of high-minded people on the planet that are able to read the yugas again, read and study the yugas, read the process of the Vedas and study Yuktasvara, study science, put it all together and come up with dates and equations that have to do with what's going on right now in our yuga and how that will affect us. And when that happens, you start receiving transmissions and you start receiving and seeing teachings that the rishis are putting out, which are the changes of a project. That's not in old, it's only referred to. Only referred to, yeah? And as you awaken and study and everything, which people have done in the last 30 or 40 or 50 years, people have studied. Yeah? Scientists have studied, yeah? Yeah? One of these scientists was Tesla. Of all the people in the world, his closest student was a yogi, yeah? And it was by him studying the Vedas and getting into this research that gave him the ability to receive higher mind and get into all of the understanding of the elements and everything. You know, he was under the belief that this has got to be extraterrestrials because it was happening so strong. But it was only Maitreya. Yeah, it was only the influence of the fact that Maitreya is bringing Shambhala to earth. And in the study of Yuktasvara, the study of the rays, the study of all the things that are going on with time and the yugas, it's all come down to where we are at specific dates. We know exactly when we're entering a certain date. And the information that's come up is that all of the rishis and Maitreya and Godhead has all come to a project agreement of change, eliminating evil. Now that's what my teachings is about. You know, I teach. Well, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do? I am going to oust, bust, and judge evil. Not you, but evil. And once it's judged, ousted, and then dies, it doesn't come back because it doesn't have a light body. And only light bodies return here from right now, from the year 2025 on. Nobody incarnates without the extreme influence of the light body. Yeah? And whether or not they can hold that body, maintain that body throughout the rest of their life is really up to them, because it's going to be a very difficult transition. Very difficult. Yeah? Because all of our consciousness, our ability to understand what's going on, is all based on this. So check this out. This is a these are people who have studied the Yuktasvara situation. Let's see.
Shambhala, the divine city. As we are transiting into the light age, a special divine place on earth opens to humanity. This paradise on earth always has the conditions of the light age, and hence it remains hidden, being inaccessible until now. This unique place is called Shambhala. At a higher dimension, and hence was unreachable to everyone outside, as life was still tuned to Kali Yuga. This was the reason that so many explorers who tried to locate it for centuries could not find it. Shambhala is also referred to as Shangri-La in the famous novel and movie The Lost Horizon. The people of Shambhala always live in peace and harmony and the heights of material and spiritual achievements. They live in advanced physical bodies, known as the light bodies, and hence do not age. They are free of disease, decay, and all blemishes of the outside world. They follow all the divine laws and live in total surrender to the will of the cosmic intelligence. A special soul from the sun, Surya Loka, Lord Maitreya, rules Shambhala. Many divine personalities, spiritual masters, and immortals live in this holy place. Shambhala holds the repository of highly advanced material and spiritual knowledge that has been gathered across eons of time. Due to these essential features and its purity, it remains shut to the rest of the world during the other 3 ages. Shambhala opens its doors when we pass through the present transitory period and enter into the light age. The entire world would become a Shambhala in the future. The spiritual and material wealth it holds will add to the glory of the light age on our earth. Our creation came into existence because of God's desire to manifest and experiment with His potential. God manifested further and further in different ways, creating innumerable and diverse universes, cosmoses, and worlds. A lot of this experimentation is already completed. In the next part of the creation story, God will be withdrawing the less of the successful manifestations and consolidating the existing creations. The withdrawal of these less successful manifestations does not happen quickly or automatically. These manifestations have been existing for eons of time and have strengthened. Their removal and the subsequent stabilization of creation requires a mammoth effort at different levels. Many processes must be initiated, and their effects have to be studied to complete this task. The Divine Project. As a part of these processes, a particular project has been initiated in our galaxy, our Earth in particular, by the higher intelligence. This project has been named Pavitrena Karyam, or Sacred Work, or the Divine Project. This project aims to remove certain aspects of God's manifestation and introduce newer aspects in their place. One such aspect, which the higher intelligence has decided to withdraw from our material cosmos beginning from this galaxy, is evil. This project is mainly about the withdrawal of evil from all the Earths of the material cosmos entirely. The forces of light and darkness have been created and given equal opportunities to reign all over our cosmos. In some Earths, the influence of light is total, whereas in others, darkness and materialism rules. The interplay of these two forces, light and darkness, has created a varied and diverse life in the Earths of our cosmos. All these Earths are graded in a hierarchy of 14 planes, or lokas, based on the combination of the percentage of light and darkness present in them. Our Earth belongs to the 7th plane and provides equal opportunities for both these forces to rule, with varying percentages in different periods. This is evident in the 4 yugas, where light and spiritual values become prominent in one, while evil and materialism reign cosmic in another, with a shade of these 2 forces operating together in the other 2 yugas. However, throughout existence, it has been observed that the souls have always invariably chosen their free will to break the divine laws and manifest non-positivism. Parallel to this, the forces of darkness and evil have also gained strength beyond measure and are beginning to dominate the light and spiritual aspects of manifestation. This change of balance poses enormous challenges to all those souls who choose light and righteousness. Moreover, the rishis, who administer and govern God's creation, must work beyond their capacities and expectations to set this balance right and suppress the forces of darkness. To bring stability to this part of creation, the evil aspect will be made dormant and removed entirely from this earth. This also means that the other 3 yugas will no longer be present on this earth henceforth, and there will be the light age all the time. The withdrawal of evil will result in the reorganization of life in all the earths of the material cosmos, which has been habituated to one way of living until now. If life is all good and positive, it would also be without any challenge, and growth opportunities reduce. So newer aspects will be introduced to keep the challenges alive, and it will also be made sure that one aspect does not dominate the other, as has happened before.
So, just helping you figure this out, yeah? It's a difficult understanding with all these religions and everything involved, yeah? The process is the working out of evil, working it out, yeah? Getting rid of it, closing the door of the astral plane that creates evil in the first place, yeah? So, it's in these yugas that the opportunity of evil has its opportunity, right? And that would be called lower nature. Lower nature. It's a Kali Yuga. There's a male aspect, there's a female aspect. When you look at these 2 chakric situations and you see the upper part healthy, yeah? Imagine this is Adam. And his manifestation is the tree of life, and he's a master. He's in charge. He's like God. He's like God. Why? Because he has the will of God. It's his crown. It's his crown. It's his crown. Yeah? But then he has a 5th ray, which has self-realization of him wearing a crown. He sees it. He knows it. He's born this way. Yeah? So then he has the 3rd ray at the throat, which is the Holy Spirit, which recognizes and acknowledges the crown, sees it in every way, you know. And then he has below that his heart. Now these are all of the male aspects, you know, rays. You know, this is Adam, his rays, yeah. And then he goes, oh, but I'm lonely. I'm lonely, yeah? And I need a woman, yeah? I need a complement, yeah? So take from me what is all that is good from my lower chakras, yeah? Take from me, yeah? So use the 6th ray, the 7th ray, and the 4th ray to manifest woman, yeah? So when we meet woman, we meet 6th ray. Why is she 6th ray? Because she's the complement to Adam. Why is he 6th ray? Because he's the complement to God. Not Eve, but God. Yeah? So this makes him, in the mind of Eve, the only living avatar on earth. A direct man, and she's not that, because he has a 1st ray, a 5th ray, a 3rd ray, and totally awakened 2nd ray, and all of his lower chakras are her blessings. Those are her attributes. They become her attributes. Yeah. So, after time goes on, what happens if this person over here is hit by evil? And that evil takes those very rays and says to this one down at the sacred center, he is not the Lord. He is not the Son of God. You are equal. You too have a first ray. You too have a fifth ray of knowledge, not of wisdom. Yeah? Not of enlightenment, not of anything, yeah, but knowledge. And you too have the third ray, but it's of the evil spirit. So this is an awakening inside of her that was not to take place, because it would create a false kundalini, a demigod, instead of being Eve, which would be the lover and the complement of, but her desire, and according to the dark side, was to become equal. And he's God, so she became a demigod. And that's not good. Because for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, we've had to pay this price. Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of years. We pay our longest suffering of humanity is during the Kali Yuga. And we have countries that live under the Kali Yuga. All of India lives under the Kali Yuga. Their goddess is Kali. Yeah? All their ceremonies are based on Kali, and they are the ones suffering the most in this world today. Yeah. Because of what? Because of lower nature. Because they all have these unhealthy chakras over here. All of them. Yeah. Because they accept what for thousands of years have been false goddesses. Ishtar, Diane. All false. There's no such thing as a goddess. None. Never has been, never will be. There's only God and the avatar. Yeah? God, the Son of God. So the Son of God is the incarnation. So it's not like there's two. It's still only one. Except this one comes from light, and this one puts it into matter. And that's how all these cells change. All the cells change by having healthy chakras. Having healthy chakras. So what is going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is that the process of the Kali Yuga will be abolished. Yeah? Because there will be an awakening, a releasing of the goddess Kali of existence, and the goddess Ishtar of existence, and the goddess of Mary of existence. It will not be of existence. It will not be of history. It will not be of orientation of energy, of blessing, of anything to do with the truth. Yeah? It's all going to start all over again now. Yeah? Everybody's here. Everybody's here. Yeah? Not new people needed, not old people needed. Everybody's here. But the thing is that only 1/3 of you are coming back. 1/3. And that doesn't, it's not saying, only fallen angels don't come back or anything like that. It's all of everything of heaven is coming back. Yeah? But the process is that the children of Lucifer and the children of Lilith and the children of Kali and the children of Ishtar are not coming back. That's a heck of a loss. That's a heck of a loss. But Maitreya will absorb every single one of them and rebirth them in future lives. So Maitreya will not require yugas. No more yugas. We all go to the Satya Yuga, which is, if you listen to my class, I always say the actual only yuga that will exist is the Satya Yuga, because that's where I come from. And I'm a Yuga man, Satya Yuga man. Yeah? And we're all going to radiate in this process. It's not about gurus or anything like that, because as you study this, you'll find out I'm going to get you to a point to where you're not going to need gurus anymore. You're going to have the avatar. You're going to hear him, you're going to express him, you're going to feel him, you're going to see him, you're going to see everything. But there's not going to be any lower nature requiring other gurus to get you to the avatar. Yeah, none. That'll be completely cleared away, because we're all going to be in the light body, and your connection to the avatar will be in your toenail. Yeah? It'll be in your hair. It'll be in your cells. You can't get rid of it. You don't need an outside body, a church, or person, or words, or anything like that, because it's from the light body, and the light body comes from God. Yeah? So when everybody's made in this light body, we come back, and the reason of these unhealthy chakras and healthy chakras is the yugas. Yeah, they go through cycles. This unhealthy cycle is a cycle where our kundalini is not well, our kundalini of the earth is not well, spirituality is not developed, none of that. You know, and it's all because we have unhealthy chakras. Yeah, but knowing what are healthy chakras is the fact that we are all born of this influence of Maitreya, of Shambhala. Yeah, and that Shambhala, now that it's on earth, and now all things that are in form, and they're all coming, solely coming from the Christ, the crown. It comes from the crown. Doesn't come from individuals, it doesn't come from this and that. It comes from the power of Tushita, the seat of Maitreya. And he brings that in his physical body. He gives it all up. Yeah? And then everybody goes, I'm that too. I can do that. I'm like that. Yeah, but it's not true. You know, you do not have a Tushita. Yeah? You are not the Lord of all creation. You're not anywhere near it. Yeah, nothing like it. Yeah, you know, so all that will slowly but surely die off, and that's called evil. Evil. The first creation of evil was what happened to Adam and Eve. That was evil, and I'm going to fix it. Yeah, yeah, because I was Adam. Yeah, but I was also the Lord who was standing there. And I had to do what I had to do. And all yugas were created from that moment on. You know, and that was rough for all of humanity and rough for all things. But in the process of creation, there's never really been a highly, totally spiritually ordained light body planet. Highly spiritually ordained light body planet. And this is what we've come to. This has now been chosen as the light body planet, the one and only. That's amazing. We're so blessed. You know, what is coming is beyond your wildest imagination. But what I have to do to make that happen is, you know, there are people that are going to have to go through mind-bending psychological changes because they have inside them false evil. Not their evil. It's Lucifer's evil. He's the one who did it. So now I've got to go get Lucifer. Yeah? And that one gets judged, and not Kali. Not Adam, not Eve, but Lucifer. Yeah? And then what is the legions behind Lucifer? Not one. It's 1/3 of all the angels of heaven. Yeah? So that's why I'm saying 1/3 probably ain't going to make it. Yeah? And their reincarnation will come way in the future. Way in the future. Yeah? When everybody has appreciated their blessings. Yeah? And the world is pure and clear, and we're not taking on a little baby Michael Jackson as our child. We're not taking on, you know, all these people who are evil. Let them come back. They've got to be somebody's kids, and that sucks. Even if it's one of the 1/3 of all the fallen angels, which 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. But they're not going to have a place to go. There's not going to be a home. There's not going to be a mommy, not a daddy. You know, it's a group reality. Yeah. And when this thing goes, it all goes. It all goes. So, how it works is that it's already started. We initiated it a long time ago, but it's coming into effect in 2023, which is only 2 years. 2025, it becomes dominant. The light body becomes overwhelmingly in control of evil. And evil gets judged all over the world. All over the world. It's not about a nuclear bomb. It's about people who want nuclear bombs, they have mental illness. They go through mental illness. And they can't drive their car. They can't take a shit. They can't eat. They can't do anything because they become mental illness. And it's their drive to kill and destroy the earth that becomes their mental illness. And it doesn't come out, doesn't go anywhere. They die with it. Whether it be Michael Jackson, or even Elvis Presley. If that's your scenario, and God is trying to make things right, and it's time for you to go, and you're from the wrong side of the tracks, when it's time for you to go, it's going to be seriously terrible. Because this is not the time. We are not in old days where Hitler's come back, and they can commit suicide, and walk away without ever being judged. Nope, not this time. This is the time where people literally are ruled by the morals and the ethics of humanity. By the year 2035, we will work out the evil behind all the corruption in relationship to voting and keeping people off the streets and in poverty and living terrible lives and separation of riches and all these things. All that is going to come to a head of change, dramatic change, because people are crazy. They're crazy. And that insanity is going to pop. And they're going to live in their insanity. And they're not going to be able to run Facebook. They're not going to be able to run Microsoft. They're not going to be able to run all the things they think they can run. Because what runs it is the elemental forces of their manipulation and their lack of ability to do right by humanity. And it comes from the past, and it comes into the ability today for them to pull off things that are seemingly overwhelmingly easy, like Trump having all the golf and all the things that he's done, the buildings he's built and everything, and get away with being president. Seemingly easy. Like we're all crazy. And then we went all crazy. And now all the people who are in jail because they went crazy are saying, Fox made me crazy. Trump made me crazy. That's why I did it. I was insane. I did it because of mental illness. I watched Fox all day long. You think I wouldn't have done it? Of course I would. I was programmed by that place. And Trump. I went to his meeting, wow, we were ready. And now they're in court, and that's all they can say. Fox and Trump drove them crazy. Crazy. Well, that's true. But the people who are doing it are going to go crazy. Crazy. Because it's all about mental clarity. Where's your balance? How far can you stand on this earth? How long can you stand on this earth? How long can you carry out anything when you go snap? You can't. You can't drive a car. You can't shit. You can't control your poop. It just comes pouring out. That's not a good life. You'll spend the rest of your life in a nursing home. Crazy. Which is where Michael Jackson was at. He had a doctor all the time. He was nuttier than a fruitcake. He was shitting his pants all the time. Just like Trump. They're crazy. And it's the evil that allows them to continue walking and breathing and talking, because they're channeling with these elements. It's the element of Kali that gives them life. Gives them life. So I'm eliminating the element of Kali. And there's no more. Yeah? And there's no more of all the influences. And that's why I say, watch out, for the Pope, and the Mother Mary scenario, and the Mary Magdalena scenario, and the Ishtar scenario, Easter, The evilest cosmic astral angel in the Bible is Ishtar. Stopped God from fulfilling the plan on the days of creation was Ishtar. And read the Bible. The original Bible has a really interesting story of Enoch and processes of creation you completely miss out on. But I'm from Shambhala, and where I'm from, all this information, all this wisdom is at my fingertips. All I got to do is look, and it becomes manifest right in front of me. And that's not no fairy tale. That's a real reality. That's how it works with me, because I'm Shambhala, and I hold all the records of history, because I was there, and I never was in a deluded state. So I maintain those things. And if you study Metatron, who is Metatron? He is the watcher, the only angel who comes to earth and watches. The only angel, only known angel that physically walks on earth and watches humanity, and has been doing it since the beginning of time. So that watcher holds the keys, all the information. Everything God knows, it comes from Metatron. Metatron's eyes, Metatron's ears. And Metatron doesn't judge anything. Metatron knows it's going to work itself out. It will work itself out. But there are times, in the cycle of creation, if you were able to read the whole Bible, you'd find so much information. And it does mainly talk about this one cycle, that one revelation in the end where it says, there's this goddess, and all the horns, and all the countries under the control of the harlot, and the influence of, how this affects the relationship of mankind, and whether or not mankind is ruled by God or ruled by the will of the harlot and the will of the country of people who are evil and contempt to God. And no one, by intention, it wants to be like that. It's channeling. So how does this get stopped? Well, I keep blessing. I find tukus. And tukus have fallen. All tukus have fallen. And it's not their fault. The Karmapa fell. Sharmapa fell. They both wanted to commit suicide. The processes of Sharmapa, the processes of Karmapa, the process of our, the Pancham Lama. No one even knows where it's at. Whether or not the one that's here. This is tukus. These are the rishis, the masters. And they get hit by this Kali Yuga, and they're all alone. I mean, you think you're in a kind of, everybody's looking, going, oh, they're all group masters, but they're not. The Pancham Lama really hated the Karmapa. Not hated, no. It was the Dalai Lama really hated the Karmapa. The Dalai Lama didn't get along with the Pancham Lama. The Dalai Lama laid controls over everybody in the way they studied, the way they taught, how they taught, what they taught, under the control of this sucker, and over many lives, not just short periods of lives. So it pushed people into being alone. No one wanted to back the Dalai Lama or Karmapa. So they'd leave them alone long periods of time, to the point to where Dalai Lama says, kick him out, don't let him in, don't talk to him anymore. Then lie about what they're doing. And all these evil things that are going on, and these are masters. These are people who have attained great attainment, and they're not fallen angels of any kind. They're true human beings who've raised himself up into Bodhisattva, has attained Buddha nature, has attained kindness, incarnated and lived during the time of Buddha himself, were his friends. All the avatars, these guys, were the ones that hang around with him. And then when the avatar's not here, they're left as the hierarchy trying to deal with the shit that goes on. So this process that we're in is mainly delved into the reality of humanity channeling. And how we continue, because of channeling, we need these yugas so that we can go through a period of time of less channeling and less. So these people no longer can incarnate, and the tukus can find each other. And the higher avatar can incarnate, and the tukus can surround the avatar, and teachings and temples and all kinds of things happen during those yugas. But then we get closer to that Kali Yuga, and everybody's out after the avatar, wanting to kill him, put him on a cross. During that period of time, incarnations of the Buddha, the avatar, the incarnation of Milarepa, incarnation of Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava was burnt in sacrifice. Only because Padmasambhava was Padmasambhava did he live through it. But his experience in life was that he was taken by humanity, beaten up, tied up, put onto a bundle of wood and set on fire. And he couldn't get out of it. And at the end, there was nothing. He was just sitting there in a fresh robe that he didn't even have on at the time. Brand new, beautiful purple robe. But that was his thing. He was illuminated by the light. He was saved by the glory of masters that were radiating at him, knowing that he was incarnated. So they didn't know where he was at and what he was doing and why he was doing what he was doing. But they're aware of him being here, so they do pujas and know. So that particular entity is radiating light under these high, intense situations. Same with Jesus. Radiating light, despite the fact I was just killed, beaten to death, hung on a cross, and stabbed to make sure I am dead, and then thrown, and a stone put over my cave so that I wouldn't get up and walk out. Come on, that's tough. That's really a tough one. But that whole influence is the process where my recapitulation came back, and I went through something that no one could ever imagine, and it was all about light. Transfiguration of light. That's exactly what happened to Padmasambhava. He manifested into a transfiguration of light, and all of a sudden he was physically there again. Same thing happened with Jesus. So in the avatar, the process of light is the outcome. And this life, this is the life of ending this process of yugas, which is helping to teach everybody. As I'm teaching, I'm trying to teach everybody to get rid of what you might have been channeled through. And that includes tukus. Because I know Logan Tuku, I know the Karmapas, I know the Sharmapas, I know many, many tukus, and every single one of them do not know themselves. Even the Karmapa doesn't know themselves. I'm the only Karmapa who actually knows himself, and there are 5 emanations of the Karmapa, and I'm the only one who knows himself. I'm the only one. And that's because all of them come out of the one, the original one, and they are emanations. So it's up to them to self-realize, have compassion and empathy, let go of what it is they think they are, to displace the one teacher. Because in almost all history, we've never really had the 5 Karmapas allow themselves to come through reincarnation and externalization, and the main Karmapa be sitting on the throne, and the other 4 Karmapas to be around at any given age. It could be any given age, but they are consistent. They're always alive, always alive. But we've never had that. Right now, we have 3 Karmapas and me and one other, so this is a very rare cycle of time that I've moved. But there's no recognition for all the other karmapas. The 2 karmapas that are out there, they're still like, I don't know. You know, I still can't get my hat. That's what they're saying. I still can't get my hat. Who knows who's the karmapa? The real karmapa wears a black hat. And neither one of them gets the black hat. What's going on? Yeah. The process of separation. It's a process of separation. The fall separates us. The evil demon comes up to you and says, no, 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 you're not Maitreya's husband, wife. You know, you're not Maitreya's. You know, you're not the person that he's supposed to be with. The evil demon does that. Yeah. And same evil demon, you know, goes through processes to make sure that any blessings going to Maitreya are going to be possessed by the same channeling. So that would go into the seat of the puja, of the reference to Maitreya, or the reference to anything. So anybody close, whether it be Tara or anybody close to Maitreya, is going to be hit by these demons. It's going to come right up to their ear. And they're going to persuade them, yeah, to go the other direction. Yeah. And then live life of guilt for a long, long, long time and not know why that could have happened. Yeah. Not know why, any shape whatsoever. And no one knows that they're part of a process of false prophets and real prophets. And false prophets find the real prophets, whisper in their ear, do things to them, say things to them, molest them, rape them, destroy them. Yeah? Cause harm to them, rent their etheric body, rent their physical body, rent their chakras, rent it. So then they physically start changing. They get really big down here, they get really, you know, all kinds of things physically change. Yeah? And it changes the ability for the person to have self-realization, to recognize themselves, you know, and anybody else to ever recognize them. So then the chances are there may be 2 or 3 people out there who are demons using your name, because the demon talked you in to not believe you're the one. Yeah? And that's effective. That's very, very effective. Yeah? And the only thing it affects is the one. Yeah? It's the only thing. So once I fix that, once I fix it, all of you will not be cursed, because the only thing that curses you is not what comes out of me. It's what comes out of what's closest to me. Yeah? Which would be lower nature. What you call Mother Nature. Mother Earth. Yeah? All these things, you give it. But in reality, you put a throne under someone, you put a crown on top of someone, and you had to take mine away to do it. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? So there is no Maitreya. There is no coming of Maitreya. You know, it's tens of thousands of years. It's a complete, in all of Tibetan Buddhism, no one has any idea when I might come. And I've talked through the Karmapa, I've gone, studied everything, and some say 50,000 years, some say 5 or 10,000 years, or 100,000 years, even 5 million years. And that's a long time, and here I'm sitting. Yeah? So there's a fall inside of the hierarchy that influences Logan Tuku. And that's directly related to a very close Tuku he's related to. And same thing with Naropa. He has the same problem, because all of these people were in the hierarchy together, doing their thing, getting their merit and everything. But we're in a Kali Yuga. We have no idea that the very people who come to our classes, you go into Drepung, yeah, and you go into a class, you're going to become a Kempo. But you have no idea that 3 or 4 of the people who are in the same class trying to become a Kempo are demons. As you talk to the other lamas, they're all going, I don't know why I'm so depressed. I don't know why I can't get out of this. I don't know why we don't have good water. I don't know why no one ever gives us any help. Yeah, because a great deal of the people who are planning to be Kempos bought their Kempo positions. in previous life. They never went through anything. And now they're reincarnated under the delusion that they're actually a Kempo, but they're not. They're a fake prophet, a false prophet. Just like many hundreds of millions of people in the world today who think that they're religious and they're prophets, and they're not. Yeah? So it's really tough, yeah? And one of the biggest things that this will close. Once the whole process of this goddess thing is over with, personality and other people. And that psychic energy, all it has to do is focus on one person, and that affects every living person because we're all connected together. That's how the goddess does it. Yeah? So it's like this, oh, I have a nurturing nature, oh, I am the... That's not true. It's none of that. Yeah? It's lower nature. It's meddling. It's gossip. It's trying to create who's to marry who, as though that's important. Only to Satan that's important. If you're involved with Satan, that's important. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, so it's more than important to heal the influence of every living human being lack of empathy, because the only thing that's going to change is that controlling factor of personality will flip from the solar plex to the heart. And the lower nature will turn into higher nature and simply let go. Let live. Let God. Yeah? No negative lower nature involved anymore. No manipulation, no worry, no agony, no I wish it was like this or that. None of that. Because the fifth ray is no longer at the sacral center, the seventh ray is no longer at, does that make sense? Because the only being that carries that is Lucifer. And Lucifer is channeling through us somehow. And it's going to stop. And I found its source. It's the Tukus. The Tukus. Whether it be Logan Tuku, yeah? Or whether it be the Karmapa, yeah? It's the Tukus. And without me and their ability to see me, the Tukus are in competition. And they think they're people, yeah? Running businesses or setting up some project, rather than who they are, which is a person who has a telepathic rapport with the one Lord incarnated, and their job is to head to Shambhala, live there, and supply service to the one Lord, and not to their family members, or their cousins, or their aunts, or people they meet on the street. Yeah? It is a collective of consciousness that no longer is going down like this unhealthy thing. I worry about people. That's these chakras going down. That's taking the will of God to control relationships. The will of God. You have all this opportunity to actually serve God rather than have God serve you. That's got to end. And it will end before the year 2025. God will be liberated. And you will all be free. Yeah? How it's going to happen, I can't tell you. I'll be there. I will witness it. Yeah? But the influence of it is going to be dramatic. Dramatic. I mean, we're going to watch Trump, go off into an orange suit. We're going to watch his daughter go into a mental asylum. Now, all the people in that family go into a mental asylum. You're going to hear words come out of the little boy, and he's nuttier than a fruitcake. Yeah? And he's not able to straighten it out, get it right. All of that will change because it is not the Tukus who are the problem. It is the 1/3 fallen angels and their leader is the problem. And they make the Tukus feel as though they're not the Tukus. They're the angels that didn't fall, yeah? And they have to stand up, you know? But their problem in the yugas is that very rarely am I here. And very rarely are they given the opportunity to be supported, yeah? And they go in, I mean, you can't imagine what our Kali Yuga was like. I mean, you know, good God, you know, the history of that is just beyond words. But we've been through this thousands of times, over and over and over. And it was worse the other times. Worse. People were mutated, sick, deranged. Their physical bodies were built up by the time we got here. Dinosaurs were the way they were. Yeah, now they're birds. Things have changed dramatically. Yeah, the fallen angels are not as in charge with evil as anybody has ever, as they had maybe thought. Yeah, the truth is that there is constantly the masters, constantly the reality between the Tukus and the Lord. Yeah. Every time, like Tara and I, when we reincarnate, she would reincarnate under the time of Milarepa, and we'd have a relationship. She'd reincarnate under the time of Padmasambhava, and we'd have a relationship. She'd reincarnate at other times, the very important times. Padmasambhava, you know, everyone, you know, all those relationships were ones where she was serving to heal whether or not a person could choose to become a nun, choose to live a life of spirituality, choose to be okay to live in a monastery, while the father goes, "You're nuts." Mother goes, "That's insane. I knew you were crazy all along." You know, despite no support, you know, that is a non-fallen Tuku. That's a Tuku who has these chakras. So that's why I can do what I'm doing. Yeah. Because in this cycle of time, these healthy chakras are coming into play. Yeah, they're getting stronger, and they're coming into people, and they're staying there. Yeah, and by the time we get to the year 2035, 2030, all of the Tukus that are incarnated, and the Dalai Lama will be dead. The Panchen Lama, he'll either have reincarnated or he is incarnated, and he will be found. Yeah, whether he is incarnated or not, he will live, and he will reincarnate. If he's incarnated now, he's suffering someplace, held off in a prison-like scenario, and kept from the public. Yeah, if he's alive. Yeah, which for them, that's the plan, because that way he can't reincarnate. And that's what goes on, people. You know, that's what goes on in most Tukus' lives. Yeah, so it's really difficult to recapitulate and come into your own. So one of the things that I'm working on, I talk about competition and the change. Now, the biggest change we have to make is for the children. Yeah, and everybody will, by the year 2030, come to realize what I'm going to show you right now. What are schools for? What are they for? There isn't a school in the world that is a school. It's not a school. It's a wasted 6 hours a day. Wasted. And then you're such an asshole, you get your kids up really early so they can sleep, and then they come to school and they don't have money to eat. You treat them as though, you know, I mean, you give them shitty books that are not even real. You make them read trigonometry and, you know, Pythagorean theorem, you know, and chemistry and biology, and they don't know how to buy a house. They don't know what to do, how to get a job, maintain a job. They can't organize their time. Never been taught that. Yeah, never been taught to build a house and then go live in it, or build a house and let someone else live in it. You know, do that for those 16 years you go to your school. Yeah, but what do we do right now? What do we do? And this is all going to change to what I say. This is not about Mother Nature anymore. There are a lot of ideas, yeah, and they all come from lower nature. And they're all close to good. Close. But they're not full and complete. That's why I'm incarnated. If I'm given the same opportunity, I'll walk through it and it'll come out pristine, perfect, and no agitation, no aggravation, no personal problems, and the object is the right object, and it works, every time. And it may take time to get there, but we don't have to repeat it. And no one is projected upon as having certain inability to pull it off. It's pulled off because I pull it off. And the idea behind it, it's connected to 1,000 other ideas that are all going to come together under me. So it's really good if things are like, if I say this or that, I do it on a whim. I do it quick, as though it's not really well thought out or anything, but it actually is. It actually is. And when it's time for me to make a comment or make a suggestion, I just throw it out. You'd be really wise to figure that is the last question. That first thing he says is right. And go with that. And just let it flow into that and get it worked out. That's where service comes in. That's where service comes in. But there's usually a process where people go, oh, I thought he wanted this, or I thought I heard this. But we need this. And all these kind of things come into it. That's personality. So what I'm doing is that I'm expressing a plan that is all worked out far into the future, and it needs to be maintained and facilitated. And I've got people working, making, creating all kinds of new things in order to bring those things into manifestation when it's time. And not until. So not everything gets built all at once. Things get established as a foundation, and then it's added to as the evolution grows, and it becomes easier to add those things because they come as like what do you call it as modules, where everything just seems to fit in to what you need. And that's our process. That's where we're going to move to a lot of this very, very, very quickly. So imagine here's this kid scenario.
What is school for? Feel free to call me slow, but I spent 16 years going to school, and I still don't know. When I finished, I didn't know how to do my own taxes, purchase a home, or apply for a loan. I didn't know a thing about investments, building credit, or getting a job. I graduated at the top of my class, and what did I have? This fancy diploma to sit at home with my mom. But luckily, they did teach me some important skills like factoring trinomials and how mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I'm so happy I remember the Pythagorean theorem, because it helped me a lot. Okay, I'm lying. Let me stop. Because all the stuff they taught me, truthfully, I forgot. Mom, remember when you would ask me, what did you learn in school today? And I would say, nothing much. I wasn't being modest. The truth about it, Mom, is I had already forgotten. And it's not just me. Millions of students sing the same song. How many of you guys avoid eye contact with the teacher to try not to get caught upon? Afraid to raise your hand for fear of being wrong, which proves that school isn't an environment for learning or building up the intellect. It's just a game you play for grades and how many A's you can collect. But I guess what do you expect when the most commonly asked question in class is this gonna be on the test? Is this gonna be on the test? See, if school put learning instead of testing and memorizing as the top standard, then the letter F would not stand for failure. It would stand for find another answer. And if school was really interested in our personal and academic success, students would wake up later, have more freedom and homework, a lot less. And that's not my opinion. This conclusion has been scientifically tested and proven. And any teacher that doesn't believe me, feel free to check my works cited page to inspect. Oh, and I did it in MLA format because I know that's all you will accept. See, students would get more benefit from an extra hour of sleep than putting them through the torture of an extra essay, reading 150 pages, doing problems 1 through 60 on a worksheet, and having 3 projects due by the end of the week. Not only is it pointless pain, but it's also dim-witted, because we get so much work, but they don't teach the time management skills to deal with it. See, in school, we are controlled by bells. We have to learn in rooms with the feng shui of a prison cell. We have to ask permission to relieve bodily functions, but not before the teacher asks a million questions like, why didn't you go before class? I'm sorry, my bladder is kind of on its own schedule and it's not always timely. See, teachers always say, use your time wisely. But that never made sense to me. Because these 6 cruel hours of our lives we call school might literally be the worst use of time management ever in history. Think about it. The traditional teaching method is foolish. No, it's useless, multiplied by the square root of stupid. What they do is they cram information in your head, force feeding you, and then you throw it up on the test. That's not education. That's bulimia. And the more bulimic you are, the better you will do on their assessments. So it's no wonder why so many students graduate mentally and emotionally anorexic. See, school teaches you how to memorize dots. True education should teach you how to connect them. True education teaches you how to catch a fish. School teaches you, yeah, you caught the fish, but you didn't show your work, so it doesn't count. Throw it back. I'm just asking, what is school for? It's not education. That's just not true. If you still think that, you might be sniffing glue. See, the word education comes from the Latin root educe, meaning bring out, i.e. bring the gifts out of a person and make them viable. But school doesn't bring out much. It just stuffs more facts inside of you. Now, some of that stuff is justifiable. We need reading, writing, and some arithmetic. That's fair. But are you telling me metamorphic and igneous rocks are more important than self-care? If suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death of ages 10 to 24, and Harvard studies suggest the biggest predictor for success is self-control and emotional health, then why the heck aren't we taught how to handle stress, bullies, or rejection? How about anxiety or depression? You know, skills we need for our entire lives. Bro, I don't even know how to cook. I'm honestly surprised I'm still alive. But hey, at least I can name all the battles that happened in the Civil War. Seriously, what is school for? Some say you need it to be successful, and that's something we do not doubt. But do you own a MacBook or iPhone? Did you know they both were created by a dropout? Are you watching this video on Facebook or YouTube? Doesn't matter which you choose, they both were created by dropouts. Ever use Snapchat, WhatsApp, shopped at Whole Foods? Well, thank a dropout. Does your home furniture come from IKEA? Okay, don't get the wrong idea. He was not a dropout. Don't be a fool. I mean, how could he drop out? Ingvar Kamprad, founder of IKEA, never even went to school. I know what you're thinking. He's just picking and choosing. There's millions who didn't go to school that aren't successful. Who is he fooling? And you're right. But open your history books and start perusing. You'll find the very people we idolize in school never really had formal and/or secondary schooling. I'm talking George Washington, Abe Lincoln. America's best presidents had 0 school between them. Ben Franklin, Thomas Edison, shall I proceed? Ernest Hemingway, Mark Twain, Teddy Roosevelt, Margaret Mead. Now please, I'm not saying drop out, because some schools are great and many teachers are rare treasures. I'm saying that there's a difference between people who are smart and people who score better. I'm saying that your future is something that no test will ever measure. Even if that test begins in 3 letters like SAT, ACT, it's BS if they say those determine your LIFE. No, your destiny is in your hands. You must shape it to be great. So don't expect school to open doors, because it's more likely to slam them in your face. Sometimes I wonder about all the dreams lost in school and how much potential goes to waste. If it wasn't for music and YouTube, then I would have been just another lost case. Everybody watching this, please, close your eyes. Imagine a child sitting in the back of some teacher's class in some town. He never raises his hand, he fails most of his classes, but inside of him, there is a passion. And if nurtured and brought out, will lead him to discover the cure for cancer. But you see, I'm afraid that child's gift will never come out. He will never win the Nobel Prize award because in class he was ignored and his worth was judged only by his scores. So teachers, principals, parents, advisors, and students, I ask one more time. What is school for?
Yep. Yeah. And I've been teaching that for a long time. Yeah. But now it's coming out into a place to where people can see it, talk about it, and be clear in what they're expressing. So we're not far from this changing, and we're going to tear down all the schools. And then we're going to build something new. We're going to build training centers, technical centers, athletic centers, martial arts centers, places where if you have an interest, there are so many places you can go and fulfill those interests. And you get credit for going to that. That's your school. It's not about, did you include math? Did you include history? Yeah. It's about life experience. Yeah. You should get credit for life experience. Yeah. And then we should learn, what are these experiences these kids should be having? On a basic level, they should know how to cook. On a basic level, they should know about nutrition. On a basic level, they should know what happens when you get pregnant. How to get pregnant, how not to get pregnant. On a basic level, they should know there is no such thing as transgender and homosexuality. On a basic level, they should know this. Yeah. But we can't teach it because we're stuck in a field of education that puts laws over the top of it and they're stupid. They have no idea of anything. Yeah, they're doing things and saying things and believing things that have no truth to it. Yeah. So here in the future, and near future, right now we're getting this about education. But what about transgender? Are we ever going to learn about that? It's a possibility. Let's see what we got here.
Six, 5, 4.
I was born a male. I started living as a female when I was 19 years old, had a sex change when I was 30 years old. I've now been living as a woman for 28 years, and I fully regret this.
Nobody can change genders. It's impossible. It's delusional.
So this is where we're at now. But it takes many, many years of people with me being on the planet, because you can go back to Rome and you'll find transgender. You can go into Africa, you can find Native Americans, you can find all kinds of people who are crazy, possessed by evil spirits, and go into transgender delusion. Yeah, it's common, but it doesn't mean that it's right. Yeah, so when we start getting healed, we still have these things, but almost all these things happen because you were rented, you were manipulated, you were molested. Almost every single one of them. And the outcome of it is that 40% of all the suicides out there are people who chose transgender. 40%. That's a lot. Now we're going to learn from that. Yeah? We're going to learn. And people who are transgender are going to learn. They're going to watch everybody die. They're going to live in their own suffering. They're going to realize, oh my God, I cut my penis off. Oh my God, I sewed up my vagina and I took a piece of my stomach and I put it on my clitoris and turned that into a penis. Yeah. And once they've done that, surgery's over, they wake up, holy shit. Yeah. What do I do? How can I waited so long. I finally got a doctor to give me my hormones. Yeah. But why do they do the transgender change? Well, mainly because they're dressed up as women. They're guys dressed up as women. Yeah. And they hide their penis. And they put on makeup. And they like to make out and have sex. And guys get caught in it. They get molested. And it does never turn out well. They always get beat up. They always get tormented and treated like shit, because this is what they're doing to men. They're dressing up like a woman. They're saying, oh yeah, oh no, I'm a girl. And then they get the crap beat out of them. The only alternative they have is have surgery, so that when it comes to that moment, there's no way they can say you have a penis. There's none there. And you can continue your lie. And then we rent the earth beyond your wildest imagination. And children. And reincarnation. So here's a lot of these people are this way because of this.
In the 6th grade, when I was on the Summer League swim team, and we had a new diving coach. Well, what he would do is, when he had a chance, he would play with me. He would fondle me. And try to get me to have an erection and just continue to play with me. Carmelli, I'm gonna have to shut you into a room. Can we pause for just a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Come on, Carmel, let's get you into a room back here. You are gonna keep moving around. Come on.
Quiet, bad dog, bad dog. Hold one moment. I will try to silence the dog. Dottie, go lay down, lay down. Go lay down. First off, my name is Renee Jacks, and I'm an author. I've written 8 books so far, 3 of them to do with transsexuality. I was born male, grew up in a very conservative Republican family. My father was pretty much absent most of my childhood. He was an alcoholic. My mother was mentally ill. The childhood was so troubled and so traumatic that in retrospect, I was able to look at it and realize that there was no way I was getting out of childhood normal. You go and you take a shower and you're there to get clean, but every time I had to take off my clothes, every time I went to bathe, there's no getting around the fact that I wasn't a girl, that I was a boy. And that really is the one memory that sticks out, is just how much I hated my penis. By the time I left high school, when I was 18, I was cross-dressing most of the time once I was away from school. And a couple years afterwards, I ended up in San Francisco, which had a very small gay community. And I had made the decision by the time I was about 20 to start living full-time as a girl. When you start dating people, and if you pass well enough, the whole purpose is, are you a transsexual or are you a woman? And in my mind, I was always a woman. I'm wanting to date, and I'm not telling the men that I'm dating that I have a penis. And so when they find out, they become violent. There were a couple instances where I was beaten very badly.
That's going to change things dramatically. There is no good outcome. The outcome is shock. This guy grew up with sisters, and he was moved through the process that they're pretty and they have fun and they like to change clothes and wear dresses and do all these things guys don't do. And once he started thinking that that's kind of neat, then he got obsessed in the fact that he's not a girl. And looking at his body made him even more upset. So transgender was a process, wearing clothes a little bit, putting on a bra a little bit, wearing high heels, changing your look, By the time the person turns into 22, 23 years old, we do metamorphosis. We change into the form, the look in the face becomes feminine. And you get a doctor to give you hormones, and it changes even more. Your process of your skin, your process of everything starts changing in that look. And it just supports the delusion, that this person's carrying. And in almost every case, it's fed by a process of molestation, through the process of them getting rented, or a process of someone actually furthering their illusion and their delusion as a child. That it's better to be a girl. It's a lot more fun. You can wear makeup, you can wear your hair funny, you can do all kinds of really cute things. It's 100% better to be a girl. And so that's it. That is the reason why they go into that transgender process. But the thing is that there's a reality to it, and the outcome of the reality is that if they don't change their physical body, they're going to get the shit beat out of them and harassed, because guys aren't gay, and they want nothing to do with a guy who wants to dress up as a girl and act as though he's a girl and add that into your personal life. You're not looking for that. You're looking for a nice lady. You might get married, you might have a good time, you might go out, you might go to a movie, you might drink, you might have a conversation. It's all fun, unless there's a penis under there. Then you go nuts. It really could put a spin on you, And this, as it keeps growing like that, this will become our cultural understanding that transgender is not a good idea, that people commit suicide because of it. The outcome is that most people want their penis back and want their vagina back and want to go back to the gender that they were in almost all cases. And for that reason, they commit suicide, because it's almost impossible to go back. So 40% of all the people who commit suicide are transgender or people who cross-dress. Not good. So it's going to change. You could see through the process of these people going through what they did. And we've had enough of it going on the planet. Enough. We have San Francisco heyday. We have countries and certain places to where their whole focus in where is it? The Netherlands. That's the best place in the world to get your gender change, because the doctors, they focus on that as their specialty. So they can not only remove, they can put it back. They've been doing it for so long, since the 80s. If you wanted your gender changed, you need to go to Norway. And it's just the way it was, because the doctors were open to that kind of thing. You go to Denmark and Norway, the cross-dressing, gender, open sexual activity, and using children for sex, and all those things went on quite a lot in the 50s and the 60s and the 40s. So it was the perfect cultural place for transgender to pick up and for people to travel to go get that done. But now we're finding, and they're going to find it from here on out, that this is a psychological problem. What we need is mental hospitals. What we need is for people to get together and talk it out and work it out and heal. And that includes, all the people with their tattoos and everything. It's a cross-dressing. You're cross-dressing, you're crossing over into evil. You open the door into a place that does tattoos, and all the tattoos are focused on goth and evil. So you're stepping in. You're just like a transgender. You're stepping over to the other side. You open a door and you go into that side. Now you're going to buy all the things for that delusion. And it's the same thing. Now you're deluded. You're evil. So you put tattoos on. And instead of saying evil, you say you're bad. You're bad. I'm bad. I got tattoos, sleeves. I don't like my parents, and I want them to go to hell. So I put a tattoo on my neck. Because every time they see me, they're going to go to hell. And they can't help it. They want to think wonderful things. This is their child, you know. But they're looking at hell. The door is open. Now they're looking at a child from hell who went into hell and is now marked by the beast. Yeah? How long is it going to take for me to get that one across to people and change this? Well, right now we're in a process where enormous numbers of people are getting their tattoos erased and putting tattoos over tattoos that used to be evil and change them into something that's more neutral, you know, so that they can live through their life. Yeah. So this is going to happen very quick, and a lot of people are going to be dying between now and the year 2040. You know, so that'll clear a lot of things up. It's not like I'm not empathetic, you know. I'm realistic. Yeah, this is real. Life is like this. Yeah. Tukus in my life, yeah, while they're incarnated in this life, I am fighting for them to live 200 years. I am fighting for it. I am changing all the diet in the world so that they can learn, not be vegetarian, not be fanatic, not be what it is their culture tells them they should be. But learn from me, you know, what it is I'm teaching now, you know. It's not about what you thought. It is so simplified. You know, either you're doing keto or carnivore, you know, and you know, that's it. You can't go. You got to fast, do keto, carnivore. You know, it's not a fanatic thing. It doesn't go to vegetarianism or religion. You can't base a religion around being a carnivore. That's pretty hard, you know. You either got to self-realize that this is what you need to do, and that is in the heart. You do that from the heart. It's very difficult because now you're choosing to only eat meat, and you have to question whether or not this is really the right thing, and it is the right thing. It is the right thing. You have no idea all the other illusions that are coming from the elements that are trying to get you to eat sugar or eat something that smells and tastes like sugar. Yeah? All your senses are elemental forces that give you addictions. And we're supposed to live a very simple life off the land, you know? And the one thing that we can deal with quickly and easily and is moderated in right relationship is that we can consume animals. Yeah? They're abundant. It only makes sense. Yeah? And the other things that we consume, who knows if we have an allergy to them? Any one of them. Tomato, lettuce, a nut. People die from eating a nut, you know? What degree is there an allergy? So by doing a keto diet, by doing a carnivore diet, you minimalize things down to eating very, very, very few things. You eliminate a lot of sugar, you eliminate a lot of things. So you're actually eliminating what you don't know. Due to ignorance in this world, we don't know what food does to us yet, yeah, and what foods are right for us. We don't know. But we're going to find out because we're in an experiment. And everybody's led by the senior doctor to go through this experiment and come out the other side. And people who have diabetes will not have diabetes. They will go away within 1 year. People who are obese, 300-400 pounds, will lose 150 pounds in 1 year. That's a lot. What diet can you go on to do that? Yeah? But only through a carnivore diet or a controlled ketose diet can that go on. Because you're not, the allergies that you're maintaining is still creating your lack of ability to heal your thyroid or heal other parts of your glands because they're reacting to these allergies. And you have no idea that that's going on. So simplify it. Yeah? Get it down to that simple process. Yeah? And that's where we're going to be at. Most of the tukus, and there are millions and millions and millions of tukus, people. Millions of people. 2/3 of heaven is tukus. Only 1/3 is fallen angels. And all of them are angels, but of the dark lodge. Yeah? So they can all flip. They can all be resurrected. They can all be redeemed. Yeah? Which gives us more light than what we're dealing with. Yeah? By redemption. Yeah? And instead of having darkness coming at us all the time, like, why are we going to school? And why are there a bunch of fags running around dressing in girls' dresses? You know, why is this? You know, we're obviously not in heaven, you know, or are we? Are we in heaven? I don't think so. You go to a gay march and you have a 90% chance of seeing people dressed up with horns. You do. They like to wear horns. Why? 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 Because they're channeling. They went through another door. The same door for tattoos, the same door for gays. There's a door, people. And once you're in, it is hell. And people who do tattoos to the extreme, cut their tongue in half, put all these things in, put these things underneath their skin to make it look like they got a horn coming out, speak to them. Talk to them. And they will tell you, I'm trying to look like a demon. I want to look like a demon. Goth. Why? Because I want to look like a demon. Really? Yes. Is it so hard to understand? But we don't talk to them. We don't ask why. Yeah? We just judge and say that they're just in another fad. Trust me, people, this is all about a door. And there's very little things you can do to go through that door. It's not like everything you do can get you through that door. There's very few things you could do to get you through the door of hell. It's not easy. You literally got to go perversion. You literally got to go the big lie. You got to lie to yourself that you are something other than what you are. A beautiful girl, beautiful boy. But no, I can put a tattoo here and cut my tongue in half and my ears down to here and put, a cut across there and make it look like my neck is bleeding, or I can put satanic symbols all over my neck and my forehead and shave my head, and I can do anything I want. Freedom, why? Because same thing the gay people are saying. And the reason why they want it is because there's something on the other side of that door calling them. And it's their lower nature. And we have to stop channeling it. Because we're losing people. Masses of people. All these people who do tattoos and people who become transgender are the highest ranking people who commit suicide. I mean, it's horrible. Yeah? All right, so let's pray. Okay, repeat after me. Lord Jesus the Christ, thank you for bringing me here. Lord Jesus the Christ, I open my heart to you today. I invite you to come inside. Come, Lord, and save my life. Receive me today as a child of God. Forgive all my sins and write my name in the book of life. I give myself to you, my spirit, my soul, my body. Receive me, Jesus the Christ. Now, the devil, The blood of Jesus the Christ is against you. I command you now to leave me. I do not belong to you. I am God's property. Leave my life. I disassociate myself from you. I renounce every evil covenant I have entered in with you. In the name of Jesus the Christ, I have received salvation. I am a child of God. Amen.
Let the forces of light bring illumination to mankind. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May humanity of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of all mankind be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us do our part. I invoke the holy archangels of heaven. Let the lords of liberation issue forth.
Okay, take a deep breath.
Let them bring succor to the sons of mankind. Let the rider from the secret place come forth. And come, say, come forth, Almighty One. Let the souls of mankind awaken to the light. And may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of the woe has come. Come forth, Almighty One. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, Almighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, Almighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. from the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of mankind. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of mankind. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, a purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of mankind, let the plan of love and light work out. And may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not to hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form, and let life and all events and bring forth to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavage be gone. Let love prevail. Let all mankind love.
Okay, just relax. Open your eyes. Geez, so there's a lot in society that gives the illusion that there's no teaching around homosexuality in Buddhism, and no teaching really in Christianity other than, the dogma aspect, But it's taught quite a bit, and it's taught in history, that the fall of governments, the fall of nations happened due to homosexuality. That as the perversion grows, it grows into the minds of the people, and the minds and the actions of the government, and they become tyrannical. They become dictators like Caesar, and they kill the avatar. So it's probably not a good idea. If we just study it, we'll find all throughout time, we've always come up with the reality that homosexuality destroys culture. And yet, the culture that we identify with, which is painting and sculptures and things like that, we call that culture. That's not culture. That's a delusionary aspect of reality. When art is done, and a true characteristic of an artist, one who's a master at what they're doing, and they do it because they have many lives of skills, and they're drawn back into those skills as a child, and they develop those skills, so they can make a sculpture better than anybody, and they can draw better than anybody, and they can do all kinds of really neat things, and those are nice things. But if the person doesn't do it without anybody knowing who did it, then they're in trouble. Because the worship of objects is a process inside of humanity. We have a tendency to be irreverent toward humanity, but worship objects. And we can worship deities in the form of forms, or temples in the forms of forms, And because they're objects, we will freaking worship them. But we can't really worship God. And those who worship God, many who worship God, are perverted, and they're using this as a way to cover up their perversion, because they believe everybody is perverted, and there really is no real knowing as to what is right or wrong, So they just go along with all of any of perversion, drinking, smoking, being aggressive, hostile, killing, torturing people to get them to confess. And religions do this shit, and they do it because they compromise the soul. They put their spirituality in statues and not people. And once you're dead, they turn you into a statue, and you worship that. But what we should be doing is witnessing the virtue in life that people exhibit, and it's rare. It's rare. Virtue would be, okay, I make a sculpture and and I, just like in Tonkas that we do in Tibet, we do not know the painter. They never sign it in the back. Never know who did it. It's just done perfectly. And it's done in geometric proportion because it's sacred. And it brings out unknown sacred values. So you don't really worship it. You just meditate because it's beyond you. So you can't think in a material form in that way. But if you put a name on it, and that person does that what could have been a holy process turns into an identity situation. Oh, I have, Suro Rinpoche, special painting, and I'm so blessed because I have his special painting. He only painted 100 of them, and that's not how it's done. It's not how it's done, And when we get through it, come to find out we're not really interested in these things. Because a true sacred form comes down to geomancy. And if we understand the building of a stupa or the understanding of building of a statue of Buddha, it's not a being, it's not a person. It's a geometric pattern. Yeah? And it's that pattern in our unconscious state that we're getting hit by, so that we could witness Buddha when Buddha appears. We would not have the veils, and we're not focusing on worshiping the statue. If you're in Buddhism and you understand this, you're taught these things. This is not a statue you worship. Yeah? It's one that is made in geometric proportion. And that means that we are sacred, not the statue. The statue just gives us an image of ourself, you know, and it helps us become virtuous, because we're not seeing it as a person living out and acting in certain ways. We're seeing it as virtues made manifest in geometric proportion as an opportunity. When Buddha comes, we'll have a really big opportunity. So we want to clear our mind with all the possible change of virtues, yeah, and make it possible for us to receive Buddha when he comes, because Buddha reincarnates. So those kind of statues, those kind of things are very, very good. Yeah, they don't have a negative process put into it, and less names are put on it, and it becomes a Picasso, and now we're in hell, because that's going to sell for $100 million, and the value of a dollar is going to go down to where more and more people are living on the street, because the value of the dollar is worth nothing. Yeah. In other words, you can work your ass off all week long and you don't make enough money to pay for your food and your rent. You do not make the $5,000 it takes in that particular day and age and that location for you to pay for your car, to pay for your food, to pay for your rent. You know, it's not there. The value is in the art. It's in the art, or in the architecture, the big building, yeah, a city, yeah, yeah, whether it be a megalopolis, you know, or even if it's a town, you know, it brings something into us of nature. We get a sense that we know each other, that we live here, we choose to, you know. There's a goodness in it, a rightness to it. But when you step into a city, it becomes an asshole's idea, like an artist who architecturally, like Trump, builds this shit. You know, like the people who sell steel. They sell steel, and then they say, build with steel. Let's go to war. We build tanks. We build rockets. We build all kinds of things with all what we need. We need war in order to use my materials. We need buildings in order to use my materials. And every area, they have to have artistic processes, statues, and they're usually demons. You know, like gargoyles on top of buildings in New York. That's not right. Yeah, but that's the process. Yeah, and in the end, we're going to have to go through the trouble of tearing them down and getting rid of all of it, you know, and replanting everything, you know, and living way far away, and have to go into that city just to tear it down. Yeah, not because it's useful, but because it needs to go away. It's part of culture that takes away from culture. It forces us to live in an inhuman environment with bricks and mortar and, you know, pavement and cold-hearted people and landlords and you name it. It's hell. It's a creation that's not made by God. There's a whole new door you're going to walk into. It will be provided to you, and you will have the soul that goes, I do not want to live there, but I will get paid to tear it down. I will do this. I'll tear it down. Yeah? And we're going to learn better and better how to tear them down, how to recycle it, how to put good use to the land, good use to humanity. Yeah? That's the way it's going to work, people. I'm not asking anybody's, cooperation or appreciation of these ideas. It's just going to happen, and there's a lot of things that you think, whoa, Bruce Jenner, I don't care if he's a girl or a guy. I do care. God gives you your name. God gives you your face. God gives you your thumbprint. What right do you have to change this thing? You're using that fifth ray in the worst of evil when you do these things. And evil I will take away. So these things are going to end, and they're not going to end pretty. Because you're going to, the last of the creatures, that come out of this pagan world of delusion. Last of humanity that builds their great big monuments like Trump. And we're not going to have any more of that. This is the last Trump. Imagine how many Trumps we had before that. We had all these people building all these buildings and all their names, and they were so famous. And we lived off that. And it ruined everything. So all that's going to change. So just relax into it. Get your shots. You can not wear your mask after a while. You'll be just fine. Because we've got a good president. We have a great vice president. We have millions of people who did not vote for Trump, who are never going to vote for Trump again, even though they think that they've got some real reason as to why they might come back. But they're not. It's over with. It's done and over with. So, thank you all for attending.